Welcome back. Today I'll be showing you some of my favorite core exercises that you're probably not doing, but you probably should be. Welcome to Integrated Wellness Warrior, where we believe in building a strong body, a clear mind, and a whole life. I'm Malia, a personal trainer and social worker, and here we integrate physical fitness with mental well-being to help you become your healthiest, happiest self. I always start off any workout with these 3 core movements. The first one is a modified curl up. You can see I've got one leg out straight, the other knee is bent, and I'm raising really my head and just shoulder blades slightly just to get a little contraction there in rectus abdominis. And what I like about this one is it does not tighten up hip flexors the way that sit-ups and crunches do. You will never catch me doing those. But this one instead is pretty good for just activating and strengthening those muscles that run down the front of your abs. Next, we have a side plank. I love this for strengthening obliques, quadratus lumborum, and some other deep internal core muscles that sometimes we forget about. So I do this variation where both legs are straight, but there's another one if you need to regress back where one leg is bent. Make sure, of course, we're getting both sides equally, starting with straight leg if you prefer, or you can do the bent leg option if that's better for you. I usually do these for maybe 20 seconds on each side as part of this warm-up. And the last one I never miss out on is the bird dog. So for this one, we're going to raise opposite arm, opposite leg, and it's not about raising them high. It's about imagining that someone is pulling on your hand and pulling on that ankle and stretching you apart as far as they can. Imagine you're trying to touch the opposite wall with those. If done correctly, you should feel this kind of diagonal strain feeling in your abdomen, and you know that you are doing it correctly. Remember, get lots and lots of length on this movement, keeping your back flat. Next one, if you've got some equipment here and you've got a stability ball roller, this one is really good because you are not only using your core muscles to make movement, but perhaps more importantly, you're using your core muscles as stabilizers to prevent movement. So here I'm rolling out on my knees onto that stability ball, and the only thing stopping me from completely face planting is my core that's stopping that movement. So any movement where we can do like anti-extension, anti-rotation, anything like that with our core is generally going to be a good one because our core does so much work to stabilize and prevent other movements. You can see this one is pretty difficult. I had to stop and take a break. So don't be surprised if you do too. Adjust your hands and elbows however you need to, just so that you can get the most range of motion, again, without actually planting yourself onto the floor. Make sure you've got some padding there under your knees too. Here I'm just on a little mat. Don't hurt your kneecaps trying to do this one. Next one, you'll need another piece of equipment, and if you don't have them, you could use like paper plates. Here I'm just using a set of sliders. You want to start to get into a nice plank here. These are called plank jacks. So I'm keeping my upper body really as still as I can, trying to keep that nice flat back, but moving my legs like I'm doing a jumping jack. This one, usually about 20 seconds on this is pretty good, and you'll start to feel a pretty good burn. So I do this as like a HIIT or a Tabata workout. I'll do my work for 20 seconds, rest for 10. Another one I like to do when I have these sliders is a mountain climber. Again, very important to keep the back as flat as possible here. Pulling those knees in and pushing them out. So be really active in how you move those knees. Don't just let your legs slide back, but it's a really like active push-pull. Again, so good for that Tabata protocol, 20 seconds, 10 seconds of work. Because after 20 seconds of these, you're going to be pretty gassed and core is going to be burning. This is another one that I really like because I think it just works a little bit differently because you're moving side to side and we don't have as many core exercises where we're going side to side. I don't know what else to call this, so I just call it walk the plank because you're in a plank and you're kind of walking side to side. My tip here is do not walk your hands and feet at the same time. It's too difficult. So do hands first and then feet, hands first and then feet, and you just need a small area to do it. Just make sure you're moving to the side. Next, you'll need a small kettlebell, and here I really emphasize small. This is a kettlebell windmill, and if you could see me from this side, you could see that I'm not moving to the front or back at all. All I'm trying to do is push my opposite hip, so the one that's not next to the kettlebell, as far to the side as I possibly can. without bending forward or backwards. So I'm going to feel a huge stretch down the inner leg of that one with the kettlebell and also outer hip. Okay, so you can do this with a kettlebell down low or as kind of an advanced movement. If you can pitch that kettlebell up high, the motion at the lower body is going to be the same, but with that kettlebell up high, you've got a little bit more of a balance challenge. So you've got to keep that overhead without letting that kettlebell flop to the side. And you're really going to feel this in like your side body. So down your oblique, quadratus lumborum, and again,